You have tuned into the BearDown Corner with your host, Sergeant Julio. Hey everybody, this is the BearDown Corner. I'm your host, Sergeant Julio. We got your Week 15 recap here and now. Let's get diving right into it. Thursday night had the Atlanta Falcons going into Tampa Bay where they could play spoilers as Tampa is trying to keep pace and lead in the NFC South. Little to no avail, though. It was the Kyle Pitts show on Thursday night. 11 catches, 166 yards, 3 tutties, and they grinded out a 29-28 win. It was some hard-nosed football. Atlanta's not done. They're here to play spoiler. So over the weekend, Carolina had the temporary lead in that. But little to no avail. Did that help them on Sunday when they took on the New Orleans Saints, who they were favored to take the win and couldn't get the job done. New Orleans grinded the crap out of Carolina, and they come away with the 20-17 victory. New Orleans does. So that now shoves Carolina back behind Tampa Bay in a tie for that division at 7-7 each. The playoffs are looming, and things are starting to heat up. Cleveland went in Chicago for the beginning games of Sunday, where the Bears handled business quite handily, actually. Myles Garrett, he came closer to the all-time sack single-season record. He is now 1.5 away from breaking it and 1 away from tying it, with a few games left in hand. But in this 31-3 victory, Caleb Williams had a pair of beautiful touchdowns as he tossed him to DJ Moore. One of them he probably should not have even thrown, but DJ Moore came up and grabbed that thing like he was saying a Hail Mary. 17-28 for 242 yards, 2 touchdowns, and DeAndre Swift with 98 ground yards and 2 touchdowns in the end zone. Washington went into New York where they took on the Giants and they grinded out a 29-21 win. With really the highlight I found was Jalen Lane, a depth wide receiver who is their punt returner, had a 48-yard punt return touchdown. So for an entire game, Washington actually hit it on all parts of the ball. But that still doesn't help their star quarterback, Jaden Daniels, who they brought back, and I honestly thought he should have just stayed out the rest of the season. He should not have come back. Because you were already 8 losses in. The NFC East was pretty much wrapped between Dallas and Philly at that point. Why would you risk injuring this kid? He's your future. He's your franchise. So they shut him down for the remainder of the season after the game. And, they go in and play next week. Las Vegas went into Philadelphia where I caught parts of this game. Philly handled business. Simple as that. They shut down Las Vegas in all aspects. They had Kenny Pickett starting quarterback this week. Geno Smith was out, so maybe that had something to do with it. Who knows? Either way, Dallas Goedert with the 6 catches, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns, one of them being on a shuffle pass early in the beginning of the game. Ravens fans went into Cincinnati where they toppled on the Bengals 24-0, and Lamar Jackson, pair of touchdowns. He was 8 of 12 for 150 yards. So, they controlled the ground and grinded out some December football. I've been saying grinded out a lot, haven't I? Arizona went into Houston where the Texans just easily handled business. 40-20 was the final. C.J. Stroud went 22 of 29 for 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 of them going to Nico Collins, who had 3 catches and 86 yards on the day. Houston's looking good. They're looking good. I would not want to face them in the playoffs if that defense is keeping up at pace that they are. Buffalo in a pivotal Week 15 matchup against New England. This was for New England to clinch the division. They had a 21-point lead but you don't count Josh Allen, James Cook, and the Buffalo Bills out. As they rally back to win 35-31, Josh Allen takes 19 of 28 for 3 touchdowns, and James Cook was the recipient of one of those touchdowns. Well, he also put 107 on the ground and 2 touchdowns in the end zone to make a hell of a close division. So now you got Buffalo 10-4. You got New England at 11-3. If New England drops one, Buffalo can take the lead and possibly the AFC East if they win out and with one New England loss. So it's not over yet, folks. Not by a long shot. New York Jets traveled to Jacksonville, where it was the day of Trevor Lawrence. The man went for... I was shocked when I seen this. I didn't expect it, but when you win 48-20, Trevor Lawrence went 20 of 32 for 330 yards and 5 touchdowns in the air and 1 rushing touchdown on the ground. The blonde hair Fabio of the great state of Florida lit it up on Sunday. And you know what? That cost the New York Jets defensive coordinator Steve Wilks his job this week. But what the hell do you do with that? You're going to let a 48 bomber get dropped on you regardless of the team. Yeah, you know what? Something needs to change. So Jacksonville is steadily in hold of a 10-4 record and leading the AFC South with the Colts and the... Jesus, Murphy, sorry, I need a drink of water. That's what I need. I have apparently dry throat. But you have the Texans on their trail at 9-5, and you have the Colts at 8-6, who were in Seattle this week. And a little interesting backstory on this. So Daniel Jones goes out injury last week, right? Their rookie gets injured in that same game. They call him out this week. So what do? They go into their bag of tricks and they call up 44-year-old Phillip Rivers and they're like, hey, can you still throw the ball? Can you get off the couch and come play for us? Hell yeah, I can, coach. Let me come and check it out. The thing I found interesting, I found out this week, Phillip Rivers has been running the same offense as Shane Steichen. They've been talking all season. So as far as playbook, he knows what the hell he's doing. He is a classy veteran, and he showed that on Sunday where he kept it close in a game that went 18-16 in favor of the Seahawks, where I call the MVP for that game, other than, yeah, you know what, they moved the ball. But if your kicker is not on point for 6 for 6 on the day, you're not winning that game without Jason Myers. So congratulations, kicker of the MVP of the game. That's what I say. LA Chargers went into Kansas City where they could stop the hopes of Chiefs Nation with a win, and lone did they ever. They also injured, I kind of got a little solace in this. Patrick Mahomes is done for the season. Torn ACL, and he also had repaired some other stuff as well. Where was it now? He had the LCC and his ACL repaired. Sorry, LCL. LCL and his ACL repaired on Monday as well. But now the Chiefs are officially eliminated from playoff contention. It is a glorious day to be alive, I guess, right? Change is in the air. I like it. I like it a lot. Tennessee went into San Francisco where Brock Purdy handled business quite handily at a 37-24 win. He went 23 of 30 for 295 yards, 3 tutties, and 2 of them went to George Kittle. Green Bay went into Denver where if Denver won, they'd be the first AFC team to clinch a playoff spot, and they didn't disappoint. They were down at one point in this game, locked it down on defense, and Bo Nix did his magic as he led them back to a 34-26 victory where he went 23 of 34, 302 yards, and 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers, mind you. Everyone was on point this day. Everyone. And a little tidbit for Green Bay going into next week's game, they will be without star lineman Micah Parsons. He is done for the season. He injured his ACL on Sunday. Done. Gonzo. Peace. Honestly, I ain't too sad or losing sleep over it. So, And you have the Detroit Lions trying to keep pace in the playoff race as they went into the Los Angeles Rams, where it was a battle between Matthew Stafford and his former Jared Goff. Didn't disappoint. Each receiver on Detroit had over 100 yards, a touchdown. Jared Goff went for 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards. Matthew Stafford outdueled him for 368 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the ground game. Let's not forget the ground game. Both Blake Corum and Kyron Williams each had 70 yards on the day. Williams had 2 touchdowns on the ground, while Corum had 1. They are explosive on all assets of the ball. Minnesota goes in to Dallas, where they upset the Cowboys, who were trying to keep pace and their own playoff hopes alive. Since Philly won earlier in the day, they had to win. They couldn't get it done. They dropped 34-26 to the J.J. McCarthy-led 3-touchdown performance on 250 yards, where he completed 15 of 24 of his passes. Good development, I guess, for J.J. You're not making a playoff push, let's just be honest. And Dallas, well, they're actually officially eliminated, but Dallas still is technically, if they can win out and Philly loses out, they could win. Other than that, they're pretty much kaput as well. Monday Nighter had the Miami Dolphins going into Pittsburgh, where it was a 40 Fahrenheit game in a cold weather atmosphere, where Tua Tagovailoa struggles. And he didn't disappoint as the Dolphins drop 15-28, and Kenneth Gainwell. So Aaron Rodgers had a couple tutties on the day, but I got to give it up for their ground game in this cold game. And they also won 23 straight Monday Nighters as well, by the way. In doing so, Kenneth Gainwell, who has earned at least a couple more touches than Jaylen Warren apparently, went 13 attempts on the ground for 80 yards and 7 catches for 46 yards. For an overall performance and helping move this ball on a day where who wants to be out playing in that cold weather anyway? Good for you, Mr. Running Back. And I hope that you can help continue doing that for the Steelers as you guys try to keep ahead of the Baltimore Ravens. Although you have, the match in hand from previous Sunday, and then you win on today, going to 8-6 to control your own destiny. Boy, sure sounds good to me. I don't know about you. A little bit of news and notes. So with that win, the Steelers officially eliminate the Miami Dolphins from the playoffs. They're out. We already reported Kansas City's Mahomes is out for the season, and the Chiefs are done from the playoffs. Commanders are going to sit Daniels. Parsons is done. Now, Devontae Adams also re-aggravated his hamstring on Sunday. He is now considered week to week. And, of course, the Myles Garrett record. Honestly, I hope Myles Garrett shatters the record and just and proves everyone that, you know what, yeah, I am worth this amount of money, but you're also on a bad Browns team. So I feel for you, Myles, but you took the bag in person this summer and didn't look back. So I hope that $40 million is tasting real good, as you're going to be the sack leader of the season and your team's going to have a top 5 pick. Current standings, you got Denver at 12-2 as they lead the AFC. They are looking to clinch number 1 seed in the coming weeks. Pats are hoping for something along those lines if Denver were to lose. But really, let's just be optimistic that they just win the AFC East at this point. Jaguars at 10-4 control their own destiny as well. They just have to win out. They got some division matchups though in the coming weeks. Like, that's what's going to determine. I'm pretty sure they play Houston in, is it this weekend? It might be week 16. We'll have to check on that. Either way, it's coming down to the wire here, folks. Steelers control their own at 8-6. Ravens are hoping for a loss somewhere in that time span. LA Chargers and Bills, I believe, are going to make playoffs. I don't really see that not happening. The only thing I can see happening is if the Colts win out and they go 11-6. I guess technically LA and Buffalo and all them, they still have to win enough games to stamp their ticket, but I feel those teams are going to be in. Houston, I love you. I really do. That defense is A+. I'm worried about Stroud. I say that even though he just had a 3-touchdown performance. But let's be honest, it's the Arizona Cardinals. Okay? I've seen this kid play on other teams, against other teams. He has been struggling a little bit, I feel. But maybe this game kicked it in his ass and, he's getting his groove. Right? I just hope he doesn't take any more unnecessarily holding the ball too long and taking a sack and getting concussed. Because if you got to go back to Davis Mills, that's basically the Nico Collins show at that point. He tosses everything his way. In the hunt is just the Colts and Ravens. Ravens are hoping for their division win title, and Colts are trying to sneak in some way, somehow. Honestly, it would be a feel-good story to see Phillip Rivers get a crack at the playoffs. But let's be honest, you kind of you gave Seattle a run for their money on Sunday. I just don't know if they have enough. Teams are shutting down Jonathan Taylor now, especially knowing that they're going up against a off-the-couch Phillip Rivers that was coaching high school football not even last week. NFC, you got the Los Angeles Rams in their destiny, controlling 11-3, number 1 seeded. The Bears hot on their trail. If we win and LA loses, we're back in first. I feel good about Week 16's rematch against Green Bay. And if we get 2 wins, we clinch division. I really see the Bears making that final push, and let's get it done, boys. Philadelphia in third place at 9-5. They look good against the Las Vegas Raiders team. They play actual teams. They will probably get stuffed. A lot of teams have dedicated a lot of time trying to figure out on the stopping the tush push. Once you eliminate that, they're pretty much one-angled. And they can be stopped. Tampa Bay, 7-7. Your luck is still there, baby. But can you get it done? Can you run the table and finish it off? You can't be hoping for teams like New Orleans to make upsets on Carolina. Just saying. Seattle, 11-3. You know what? Let's just be honest. NFC West is going to come down to Seattle and LA. We already know that. San Francisco, I know they're right in it, but I say it's Seattle and LA. So the winner of that rematch when it comes down will most likely be the number 1 seed, barring the whole, if they lose this one, we win out, whatever the case. Probably the NFC West is going to end up taking number 1 overall. Is that going to be Seattle, or is it going to be the LA Rams? We'll find out. 49ers, 10-4. They're working with everything that they have, and they're probably going to be going to playoffs. Let's be honest. Detroit ain't catching them. Right now, it's basically Detroit and Green Bay fighting it out for that last playoff spot at 9-4-1 and 8-6 respectively. Who's going to get it done? I guess we'll see. Only time will tell. Until then, that will be it for us here at the BearDown Corner. I'm Sergeant Holio. You can catch us live every Tuesday morning at 6 o'clock General Mountain, 8 o'clock Eastern, anywhere you can listen to your podcast, and of course, YouTube. Don't forget to check us out everywhere else on our socials, and you all have a great rest of your week. Be safe, take care, and we will catch you the next time here on the BearDown Corner.